Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Today is Friday, September 26th, 2025. Back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before I go on with this topic, I want to address something. Not that I have to, because I know my supporters going to say, big boy, you ain't got to explain yourself. But I want to explain myself to my supporters, not the haters. Even though it was a comment made by a hater, I just want to have an understanding with my supporters. I don't exaggerate. I don't blow smoke. I don't play games. I'm not a character. I'm not playing. I'm not acting. If I tell you something is the truth, at least I believe it is until I learn different. And if I learn different, I tell you, hey, I was wrong about that. But overall, whatever I tell you, I'm coming from the heart. I'm not playing games. I told y'all I was off the whole week. My people told me we ain't have nothing for the whole week, right? So somebody come on the comment section yesterday as I was sitting in the truck making that video yesterday. Big boy, you lying to your people, man. You need to stop all that. You said you had no work all week. Now look, you working. Stop lying to people. I blocked them. First of all, just because you see me in the truck don't mean I'm at work. It's my truck. Anything wrong with the truck, anything needs to be done to the truck, I got to do it. If it needs to go to the shop, I got to get it there. Change the oil, I do that. Service it, I do that. I was in the truck yesterday servicing it. I did not work. So while I was out there, it was time to make a video. So I already make them in the truck anyway. All right, get in the truck, make the video. Notice I turned the truck off yesterday because, my voice was strained and I couldn't talk as loud. Normally, I don't turn my truck off during video. I turned it off yesterday because I was through with it. I had done with that. Crunk it, let it run, let the oil flow through. I know I ain't got to explain myself, but I just want to explain that to some of my supporters just in case y'all was wondering about that. Well, I thought you said you didn't work. I didn't. It's called servicing your vehicle. You have to be there with the truck to do that. Oil change, lube, that type of stuff. I was spending money on the truck, not making money. I hope that makes you feel better, hater. But no, I don't. Hold on a minute. Now, as you can see, I'm not at work right now. Now, if I wanted to, I can go sit in the truck. It ain't doing that. I can go around and kick the tire and check the air pressure, whatever, and then go sit off in the truck and make a video. That don't mean I'm at work. Okay? Now, on to the topic. And I don't know if we're working next week. I'll find out, and I will let y'all know. And then you can believe me, or you ain't got to. Keep on running around here living your life like everything is, and I'm just exaggerating, just making content, trying to get views. Keep right on. That's up to you. So now, what should be done? What can be done about our dilemma, the American people, or the people of the world is going on all around the world too. But the problems and the issues that we're facing here in my beautiful country, with the cost of living way out of control to where most people can't afford to live. Not take vacations. Go on fancy trips, buy fancy cars and fancy clothes and big, beautiful homes. I ain't saying we can't afford to do that. That's fine. I'm talking about we're in a place where most Americans can't afford just to live. And each day that they survive is a miracle. because they didn't know how they were going to make it through this day. I had many days where I didn't know how I was going to make it. And I ended up making it. That was a miracle because I didn't know how I was going to. I ain't got no money. Got to eat. Got to have a roof over my head. How am I going to do this when I know I ain't got it? And some kind of way you make it. Miracle. Signs and wonders in the last days. I'm going to leave that right there. So we're faced with the question, okay, we know where we are. We know about the cost of living, inflation, and crime, and hatred, and everything we got going on. What's the solution? What are we going to do about it? How do we fix it? If it can be fixed. I'm going to tell you what we're dealing with right now with America, where she is right now. America is one of them buildings. Just picture America as a building that's too far gone to repair, but it's still standing there. You can still see the building, but to repair it would be more than it would cost to tear it down and just start all over. Follow me. You have buildings, large buildings, what have you, that no longer are like how they used to be. You have two options. You can go in and try to restore that building, and then you weigh the cost of that, or you can demolish that building all the way to the ground, clear out the site, and then rebuild a new one. And rebuild a new one different than the old one that you just tore down, so you won't have those same problems again. Those are your two options. Now, when your option to rebuild, the building that stands, costs more than it would be to tear it down and start over, you got to tear it down. Well, that's where we are in America right now. We're too far gone to rebuild what we had. Too much damage has been done. It's dilapidated. America is falling down, hanging on its last leg, too far gone to rebuild. To fix the old structure. Our best option is to tear it down and start over. I know that sounds drastic, but we're in drastic times. Drastic times call for drastic measures. And I'm not the only one that see it this way. The rest of the world and world leaders see it this way too. Because the entire world, the way it's going, can't sustain. So it's inevitable that it must be torn down and bring in something new in our old way. They have determined. Who was they, Big Ward? The powers that be, not us. They have determined that it must be torn down. But they're not going to use demolition equipment like the wrecking ball with the big cranes or whatever to tear it down. They're going to use warplanes, warships, tanks, what have you. In other words, war. Ever so often, wars happen. They use that as a form of demolition to tear down an old structure and build a new one. When the old structure wasn't serving the purpose, they tear it down, build a new one. The way mankind does it is through war. I told y'all war was coming. Now I'm telling you why it's coming. Because the way we're going right now, we can't continue. It has to be destroyed. War is necessary. War has to happen because this old foundation, the old structure, the one we're living in now, can't survive like this. And it's too far gone to change course. It has to be torn down and rebuilt. Something new. The new world again, Check this out.
Overnight, the US scrambling fighter jets to intercept 4 Russian warplanes near Alaska. The Russian jets never entered US airspace, but are another sign President Putin is testing NATO. In Denmark's night sky, mysterious lights, drones that witnesses say hovered over an airport and military base, 2 days after 20,000 passengers had their flights disrupted. Denmark calling them hybrid attacks by a professional actor. The Russian embassy denying involvement, calling it staged and a provocation. While last week, Russian MiG fighter jets entered Estonian airspace, prompting this response from President Trump.
Mr. President, do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do. All of it after President Trump dramatically shifted his approach to Russia, saying Ukraine can win back its original borders. And today calling out the president of Turkey, a member of NATO, for still buying Russian oil.
I'd like to have him stop buying any oil from Russia while Russia continues his rampage against Ukraine.
While Ukraine's President Zelensky threatening Russia.
They have to know where their bomb shelters are. If they will not stop the war, they will need it in any case.
And tonight, more escalating rhetoric. Russia's foreign minister saying NATO and Europe have declared war on Russia through Ukraine. Tom?
When I told y'all war was coming, it was on the horizon. As usual, the skeptics, there you go again, big boy, trying to scare the people. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a man of my word. I come up in a time and I was taught that your word must mean something. People must know when you say something, you mean it. People must know when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. I live by that. I can't stand for somebody to tell me they're going to do something and don't do it. I don't care what it is. If you tell me you coming at 3 o'clock and you don't come at 3 o'clock or let me know that you ain't going to make it, I'm the type of person to cut you off of life just for that. That's how much it means to me to be about your word, a man and his word. That's me. If I tell you something, you can take it to the bank. Now, you take that how you want it. From what I'm seeing, war is on the horizon. Big boy, you've been saying that it ain't happened yet. When it gonna happen? Okay, go chill. Go to Cardi B concert. Go see what Beyonce doing. Go ahead. Don't pay me no attention. I'm just old crazy bald head dude on YouTube. Don't pay me no attention. I just want some views. I ain't got nothing better to do but sit on here and lie to y'all. So don't pay me no attention. But in the meantime, check this out.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of senior military officers to Virginia for an urgent meeting. The Pentagon has provided very little detail about this meeting, but CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie Daggett tells us it's a rare event, if not unprecedented move.
CBS News has learned that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has directed numerous generals and admirals, as well as some of their staff from around the world, to come to the Marine base in Quantico, Virginia next week. I can tell you that a meeting of that size on such short notice is extremely rare, if not unprecedented. So there are roughly 800 generals and admirals across the armed services. It's not clear how many have been summoned to come to this meeting or even why. But there are many that are currently stationed in active war zone regions, in places like the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. And there are also questions as to why the Secretary is having this in person rather than a secured video conference, as was usually done in the past. Aside from the obvious security risks of having all that top brass in one place at one time. It's going to cost a lot of money to fly them in from all over the world. Hegseth has already ordered a 20% reduction in 4-star officers. He's ordered it. It hasn't happened. He's already fired more than a dozen high-ranking military leaders. One retired general told CBS News he may use the meeting to announce further cuts. Back to you.
Charlie, thank you.
You can believe what you want to believe. They're preparing for war. It has to happen, ladies and gentlemen. They can't fix what's happening right now. There is no fix for it. Our world that we're living in is too broken. It has to be torn down. Sorry to break that news to you. We can't vote our way out of this situation. Kamala, whoever, I don't give a damn who. Nope, this has to be torn down. If you believe in the good book, there was a time when even God had to destroy it. It couldn't go on the way it was. It had to be destroyed and started over. Same concept. The way this world is going right now, it can't be repaired. It has to be destroyed and hopefully regrow. A new era, a new age, what have you. The end of this world. The end of the world as we know it is upon us. Not the end of life, not the end of the planet, the end of our world. The current world that we know will be no more very soon. I can't give you the exact date. All I can tell you, I know for a fact, we can't go on like this. The way you can work all day long and still can't afford to pay your bills, that system won't stand. So it has to be torn down and rebuilt. And the fighter jets and the tanks and the military men, that's the demolition crew to tear this shit down. Everything is playing out the way I guess it was planned. This can't be fixed. That's the only solution. Or continue to get worse. And we're going to destroy ourselves anyway. Either way, the world as we know it will be destroyed. Whether it's through war or whether it's through us unaliving each other at an alarming rate on a daily basis. Either way, this world as we know it cannot and will not last. Continue. It will end. The last days, the world coming to an end. That's our world. Every era has ended and started anew. It's time for this era. We're coming to a close. That's why time is moving so fast. Time to wrap it up. The door's about to close. Game over. Got it good. Bye.